Chapter 20. Adelmo got everyone's attention and announced, "I know the movies you watch. You think just because you were bit, you will change into one of them. That isn't the case here." Someone from the crowd shouted, "How do you know?" Getting the crowd on the edge. "Stop. I know you don't have any reason to trust me, but what I am telling you is the truth. This is now a safe place. You can either stay here or go back to your rooms where you are staying. But I can guarantee there aren't any more inside this garden." They all started talking with each other. One lady said to another person, "Can we really trust this person?" They respond, unsure of themselves. "What choice do we have?" After a few minutes of debating on what to do, they chose that they were going to believe Adelmo about the people being wounded, not transforming into a zombie. Someone from the crowd spoke up, "We will stay here, but we don't want the wounded to stay here with the rest of us." Adelmo thought to himself, "Luckily, there were only a few of them. I'm able to take them with me. I don't want to put them in any danger." Adelmo spoke up, "Okay, you all stay here, and the rest of you that are wounded come with me." Adelmo put his sword back into his bag and started walking back to his car, and a little girl and her mother followed along behind him. He began drifting in thought. "I am getting really annoyed with these movies putting thoughts in everyone's heads on what might happen. Then again, I didn't even know these existed till just recently." While walking, Adelmo felt an eerie sense of emptiness come over him. Unexpectedly, there were half a dozen zombies in the parking lot. He handed over the keys to the mother. "Run to the car. I will take care of them." All the zombies' attention went toward Adelmo. Abruptly, they started dashing toward him. He reached into his bag, pulled out his blade, and dropped the bag. The woman and child ran toward the car, unlocking it and getting inside. Adelmo raised his blade, preparing himself to attack. They were getting closer and closer. Adelmo started hacking away at each one as they got close enough to connect. The blood splattered with every swing of the blade, dropping the bodies to the ground. Finally, the last two were going to reach him at the same time. He started running toward them, and right as he reached them, he made one large swing at their bodies, slicing them in half, enabling them from being able to move. He then walked up to them, decapitating them, making sure they were completely dead, so they weren't able to hurt anyone else. He looked around, seeing all the bodies lying on the ground, blood splattered all over the parking lot. Adelmo made his way to the car, grabbed his bag, put the sword away, and got into the car. He asked, "Are you both okay?" The mother responded, "Yes, we are okay. Thank you for helping us." Tears rolled down her cheeks. Adelmo put his hand on her shoulder. "I am so sorry for your loss, but everything will be okay now." The lady looked off into the distance, trying to get a grasp, losing her soul mate, trying to accept it. Adelmo started up the car and drove off in the direction to Berlin. Adelmo started to realize as he got closer to Berlin that this death cloud had swept a huge portion of the land. He started to worry about whether he would be able to control this in a timely manner. There are just so many of them. He took the mother and daughter to the hospital, parked the car. Adelmo spoke, "I will escort you two inside and make sure you both are safe. But if you are too scared, I understand. I can go inside first to check it out." "Please go first. I can't risk my child," the mother pleaded. Adelmo nodded. He exited the car. The mother and daughter stayed behind. He exposed his blade, preparing himself for whatever might happen. He reached an empty patch in the parking lot. An eerie feeling came over him, stopping him dead in his tracks. He started to worry about going inside, but he continued on, making it to the entrance and looked through the windows. He saw inside and realized everyone were being massacred by the living dead that were roaming around inside the hospital. He knew he had to do something to save everyone. He entered into the dimly lit building, a chill running down his spine, and noticed there were at least 8 in the first waiting room, a couple of them leaning over on other patients eating their flesh. Adelmo's heart raced as he reacted swiftly, each swing of his blade slicing through the air with deadly precision, severing the heads of the dead with determination. As each zombie finished their current victim, they continued on to the next room. Adelmo saw that they were all occupied with the current bodies they were feasting on. He knew this would be his perfect chance to take them out. He dashed toward each of them, slicing at their heads one by one, dropping them all to the floor. He thought to himself, that was way too easy. He reached the hallway, and there stood a single zombie walking down it. The zombies saw Adelmo, but instead of dashing toward him, it made a shrieking sound. Adelmo kneeled to the floor, holding his ears. After the noise stopped, he realized it was alerting more. Suddenly, there is a large quantity that arrived. There were too many to count. His eyes widened. His heart raced. He was scared, not know how to deal with this battle. They all start dashing toward him. Adelmo tried to stay calm and raised his blade. A feeling came over him, not of being scared or nervous, but of excitement. He had an idea. He started to run toward them. Right as he reached them, he jumped forward, swinging his sword in a diagonal direction, almost as if the motion started moving in slow motion. As the blade strikes into each one, blood starts gushing out, splattering everywhere, dropping a large portion of the zombies to the ground. He gathers his footing and starts swinging, dicing the remaining zombies that are still upright, dropping the remaining zombies to the ground, shouting in excitement, "Yes, that was awesome!" Suddenly, more show up from both ends of the hall. Adelmo's eyes widened. He thought to himself, okay, now I'm worried.